Caused a severe weather emergency in the Arklatex. The rain fell fast. It fell hard. Here's a look at some of the areas where the rain gauge was the highest. Blanchard saw the most rain, getting 9.5 inches. Atlanta, Texas was soaked with close to 8 inches of rain. Just more than 7 inches fell in Minden. Marshall got close to 5, and close to 4 inches fell in some parts of Shreveport. Now, the possibility of more rain in the forecast is not welcome news for people in Springhill, Louisiana. They need several days to dry out after this morning's rain swamped parts of the town. KTBS 3's Ed Walsh reports that streets turned into lakes in just minutes.
A tow truck crew snagged the big one from what looks like a shallow lake at first glance. But the big one was a Buick, and the lake was a street before the area was hit by heavy rain. Robert Jacobs tried to stop the driver before her car flooded out.
She went through there halfway and she said, "Oh, help me, help me." And next thing I knew, she was walking through the water with a carton of cigarettes.
Jacobs says it took less than 15 minutes for the water to rise.
We got flooded.
The floodwater was the last thing Tiffany Bass expected to see come through her front door. By the time she made it to her clothing store, water had poured in through the front and back doors, damaging some of the clothes.
I think we saved the most of it. There's a few of the pants damaged that were dragging on the floor, but for the most part, I think we got here in a good time. I think we saved a lot of it.
At the Springhill movie theater, it was going to take more than just some Harry Potter magic for the matinee showing. It was canceled because the theater flooded. Motorists had to maneuver around high water all over downtown. Police were keeping an eye on some rising creeks. This is known as Little Crooked Creek in Spring Hill. Take a look at just how fast this water is moving. The chief says in some parts of this creek it's about 10 feet deep, but today it's all the way up to the road.
This is probably the second time that I've seen this water like this. I've seen it where it was over this bridge here, actually.
Residents say everything will dry out, except for maybe this Buick. They just hope the sun will shine before they see any more rain. In Spring Hill, Ed Walsh, KTBS 3 News.
The police chief says there were no reports of any injuries. Within hours of the flooding rains, the water did start to recede. Many of the roads that were closed were reopened. And this was the scene just down the road in Cullen. The water came too fast for residents in one housing complex. Brenda Hurd woke this morning to find that water had filled her home, and she doesn't have flood insurance.
When my husband got up, he said, "It's wet all through here." And that's when we figured out that the whole apartment was full of water.
The apartment manager was working today to move the Hurd family into another unit until their apartment could dry.